Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Autism Stories. I'm your host, Doug Bletcher, the founder of Autism Personal Coach. Autistic people are the true experts of the autistic experience, and Autism Stories is where we interview autistic people to learn from their stories, experiences, and get their insights. If you would like to be notified about each week's episode of Autism Stories, we suggest you subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platform. We would also appreciate it if you could give us a positive rating and review, as it will help others to learn about autism stories. On today's episode, Aaron Jepson joins us to discuss how marathon running impacts his autism, the fiction and nonfiction books he has written, and taking a chance on ourselves. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Aaron, thanks so much for joining me here on Autism Stories. I'd love to start out by learning, where does your story in the autistic community begin?
My story began when I was age 3 and diagnosed with regressive autism. My journey took me and my family through countless types of interventions, therapies, and treatment, searching for that elusive quote unquote recovery. We never found it, though I'm still quite impaired in many ways and depended on my parents to get through the day. But I am thankful for months of not focusing on my deficits but showing up my strengths. My life is infinitely better being able to communicate. That has allowed me to appreciate the sun rising on another day. It is so important to be able to feel like you have some control over your life and to find a way to make a positive impact on the world around you.
I always love hearing the shift from deficits to shoring up strengths. What strengths of yours are you shoring up to improve the quality of your life?
The biggest theme that I am working on now is gaining independence in communicating through typing. I'm still dependent on a writing partner for the motor skills and apraxia. If I can overcome that and write more freely, I feel like the sky is the limit for me.
One thing we have in common is that we have both run several marathons. As I've gotten older, I haven't been able to run marathons as I've had multiple injuries. So when I'm running, even for a short distance, I feel so much more regulated, just a happier version of myself. Therefore, I was wondering, do you notice any changes with your brain and body when you don't have the opportunity to run or have movement in your life?
For me, movement is not a choice. If I don't at least get outside where I can run up and down or drive it or jump on a trampoline or even just pace, my brain goes haywire. So that is a daily need, like food. Running longer distances is even better for my brain, but harder to be consistent. For best part of my marathon running is just accomplishing something really hard. I love overcoming barriers and pushing myself to new heights. I love running because it is when my brain seems to give in to the needs of my body and can just tune out all other distractions.
Now, Aaron, you have written multiple books, and one of your books is titled Running on Faith. So I'm wondering, what is the connection for you between running and spirituality?
I believe in God and that He loves me and has a plan for me. When I run, I can feel Him closer to me because my brain is calmer and more focused. Plus, it reminds me that although my brain has some challenges, I am very blessed that I have a body that can run a marathon. There are many people with both mental and physical disabilities. I count my blessings.
Something really important that I read that you wrote is that you said, I think most of us non speakers figure out on our own how to read and spell long before we can actually teach our bodies to cooperate. So, what was your process in teaching yourself to read and write?
I'm not sure that I had a process. I think I just absorbed stuff from my environment. I have always loved letters. They are one of my perseverance, so I think because of that reading came naturally over time. Of course, I learned all the basics of reading with ABA and in school, and my parents helped me at home, but I can read anything at a glance now in my head, but reading words out loud is still a challenge. My penmanship is terrible, barely legible, but I learned how to say what I want to say by listening. My mom and dad read to me every night. Still, I learned how to construct sentences and tell stories that way.
I've definitely heard some very mixed reviews from autistic people who have been through ABA programs. Now, you mentioned learning the basics of reading through ABA. What was your experience with applied behavior analysis?
I did ABA for about 5 years, starting when I was 3. I'm not sure how to answer the question because I'm not sure what I would have been like without it. I'm sure it did me some good and helped me learn some basic skills. Although I got tired of repetition, I had some nice therapists, so that made it tolerable. I eventually just gave up on the process in my mind and didn't want to do it anymore. That is when I went to public school, which was a big waste of time both academically and socially, since I was in a self-contained classroom. So I don't know what the right answer is. Inclusion and presuming competence would have made a big difference for me.
I mentioned earlier you've written multiple books. Another book you wrote was a fictional book, I Never Get Lost in the Woods. This book is about an autistic woman who isn't able to speak but witnesses a crime. So now she's forced to make a choice: stay hidden and be controlled by anxiety, self doubt, and silence, or find a way to break free. What are some ways you pursued that freedom in your life, regardless of the anxiety or self doubt you feel?
I am an unreliable speaker. I can't sit and have a meaningful spoken conversation with someone. I have autism, a condition that professionals say prevents you from understanding abstract concepts and taking others' point of view. So I wanted to write a book, and not just a book but a fiction book. Why? To prove to authors that autism experts have no clue what it's like to be me. I wanted to show both by my lead character and also as the author of this book about autism that we should not be underestimated or ignored. We are smart, capable, emotionally intelligent people inside bodies that make it hard to show those things to others. Writing the book and the things in my blog is my stepping outside of the woods and taking a chance on myself.
I think it's so important to take a chance on ourselves. Are there ways you want to take a chance on yourself in the future?
I am going to keep setting big goals and doing my best to achieve them. It has worked for me so far. That is how I have run several marathons and written two books I want to keep writing. I'm working on a sequel to I Never Get Lost in the Woods. I want to run more marathons and start doing more cycling. I want to climb more mountains. I've done 14,000 foot peaks in Colorado so far. I want to be a better autism advocate and make some friends that way.
There are many autistics who aren't able to speak but have so much to say. What would your suggestions be to them that they, especially if they may have a dream of writing a book?
My suggestion is to do it. Just try. It might not be great for first time, but it will never be great unless you start. I recommend learning how to type or using the RPM or S2C method that helps train our bodies to get the words out of our brains. It is hard and will take years, but many of us have done it. And so can you. Set a goal. Never give up. The world needs to hear your voice.
And lastly, Aaron, how can our listeners learn about you beyond this interview?
The best way is to follow my blog, jepson.com. I'm happy to answer personal emails. Also, jepson@hotmail.com. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on your podcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much to Aaron for the conversation. To learn more about Aaron, please check out the link in the podcast description for this episode. Did you know Autism Personal Coach provides neurodiversity affirming support by autistics for autistics? We empower autistic adults and teens to lead self-directed, purpose-driven lives through customized life coaching and our community groups. Our distinct approach prioritizes each client's unique goals and preferences, fostering a sense of agency and promoting self-advocacy. Coaches work collaboratively with clients to develop personalized strategies and tools that can help with executive functioning, emotional regulation, relationship building, stress management, and more. We also support parents and partners of autistic people by providing insights and guidance to bridge communication gaps and nurture mutual understanding. With our accessible remote services, individuals from any location can receive the assistance and mentoring they need. Join us today to experience judgment-free coaching rooted in empathy, expertise, and respect for autistic identity. Until next time, I'm Doug Bletcher of Autism Personal Coach. Talk to you then.